Is there a way we can call on Archangel Michael to help heal our hearts?
From the beginning of time, Archangel Michael was already given this mission to help us to grow and to grow spiritually, reach back inside of you, to touch your soul, to help you not just to look in with your human eyes, but to help your soul to come forward so that you can see through the eyes of your soul as well. I know Archangel Michael and all of the angels helping us to battle through these things. The world is being given the messages. Please listen.
Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael Sandler, your host on Inspire Nation. If you've ever wondered who is Archangel Michael, is he real, and can he help you specifically, then do we have the Angels at My Fingertips show for you. Today I'll be talking with the lady who sees angels, Lorna Byrne, the author of the newly re-released Angels at My Fingertips, about all things Archangel Michael. So welcome back to the show, Lorna. Are you ready to shine?
I hope so. Definitely. I hope I'm shining in the way you're saying there, and I'm delighted to be back again on your show, and to answer all your questions, anything you have about Archangel Michael. Of course, he's real, very real.
Goody. And you already jumped in on my first question. And I've got to say, because we've had you on several times before, out of all the guests, and we've had over 2,000 guests on the show, you have some of the sweetest, and I believe it's from doing this dance you've done all this lifetime and many before, you have some of the sweetest energy we have ever, Lorna, ever had on the show.
I don't know what to say.
Don't mean to put you on the spot. Okay.
I do this sometimes, because sometimes I just don't know what to say. But thank you.
Well, you're most welcome. So you answered the first question, is Archangel Michael real? So let's go to the second question. How did you first meet him?
Well, the first time I met Archangel Michael, I didn't even know he was an archangel. He was in my bedroom. He would just appear there and kind of like in the corner because the bedroom in Old Cumanum was very, very tiny and there wasn't much light. And he would just appear standing there. But I knew there was something different about him than all of the other angels. There was just this, I just felt he was there, to protect me and to keep me safe. And it took a while, I think I was maybe about 14 before he told me he was an archangel, and when that happened, that was even a shock, in that way, because Archangel Michael, he's in the world for everyone and he's very real. And he's not just for one particular person, he could be with me this very moment, and he can be with millions of people, other people as well around the world. How would I say? He always gives when he's with myself, because I see him physically, he gives such a human appearance, and he would always be dressed in a way of wherever I am. If I was out, walking across the field, he would be dressed really like an Irish farmer, the wellies on and everything, and like the time, I think I have put it in Angels in My Hair, when I was in Maynooth and I was in the college and I met Archangel Michael, because I was in the college and it was mainly at that time clerical students. And there was lots of priests around. So he dressed like a priest, had the long dark coat, the collar on even. And we were just walking along, one of the three pathways. And I saw these other two priests, coming towards us, and this surprising thing was that, they recognized him. They didn't know he was an archangel, but they said, "Good morning, Father." They actually never said a word to me. It was like as if I was invisible, and I know they had their prayer books in their hands, like they had them open and they closed them and they looked directly at him and said, "Good morning, Father," and nodded as they would, um, and kept walking. And Archangel Michael nodded back to them as well. And that was amazing because I was shocked. It was like as if I was invisible and they only saw Archangel Michael.
So this brings up so many questions. I'll try not to give you too many at once. Does this mean we can all see Archangel Michael? Does it mean Archangel Michael may take the form of a human being? And I guess the ancillary, we'll take this next, but does he on occasion incarnate to literally physically help us here on earth?
Yes, I would say yes to all of the questions, because anytime he comes to visit me, he gives a human appearance. And you can say that word, I don't know if I can pronounce it, incarnate, because the human appearance is so clear. Like if Archangel Michael came into this room, and you even saw him on the screen, he would give such a human appearance that you wouldn't realize he was an archangel. But one thing I tell everybody is that an angel will give such a human appearance, but they will be perfect. There's this, I don't know how to describe it, this perfectness, no matter what clothing or what image Archangel Michael would be giving. It's like every crease would be perfect. It's like, even every strand of hair, like there's this kind of, how would I say, glow about them. And in one sense, I could say maybe in a human way to understand is like they're new. They look new. That's another word I think would help people to understand. And you have to remember that all over the world at different times, people would say an angel appeared to them. Maybe they were being rescued or they were maybe in an earthquake or something like that. And they turn around to the rescue workers and they ask, "Where's the other man gone or the other woman gone?" And the rescue workers turn around to them and say, "We have been the first on the scene. No one has been here. Only us. We have only got to you now." And I have even heard that story from rescue workers as well. So Archangel Michael, that other word you used, if I'm pronouncing it right, intervenes. Am I saying that right? In our lives and helps the whole world as much as possible. But we have to, in a sense, respond. We have to, how would I say, get the faith back again. Maybe, allow ourselves to believe a little bit more.
So, and I want to go there, and I want to go how we can work with Archangel Michael directly, but based on your seeing him, and I am curious how often you see him, and based on the other priests seeing him, does Archangel Michael tend to take the form that's most appropriate or most comfortable for the person that he's there to help?
I think he takes the form that is recognizable and more appropriate for whatever person Archangel Michael is helping out in that way. And I don't know how he does it, because how he can be with so many people spiritually as well, all at the same time. To me, I haven't been given a full understanding of that, even though Archangel Michael is only one angel. It's something very hard for us all to understand. But people call on Archangel Michael, right across the board. All religions call on Archangel Michael, just like they call on Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Raphael, and Archangel Muriel, and so many others. But every archangel, there's only one of them. And yet, Archangel Michael can be with just so many people, in that way, helping us in our world and touching us. And I do hear from people all of the time saying, I called on Archangel Michael and I know he gave me a helping hand. It worked out. I called on him and I know that the guardian angel allowed Archangel Michael in and around them. That's the part I find confusing. It's like,
yes, I'm with you.
That's the part I do find confusing. An archangel can't come in and around you unless beforehand, somehow, they know already beforehand, your guardian angel gives permission and allows the archangel in and around you. That part I don't understand. I'm still learning about it, but it's like even the souls of our loved ones, they can't come in and around us unless the archangel allows it. But it's like somehow everything is connected. Like Archangel Michael would often come and visit me and say, Lorna, you need to talk about what's on your mind. Or he tells me what's been on my mind. He came before I even asked, in that way. So they already know. It's like that communication between God and the angels and even the souls of your loved ones. And, your soul it's like it's in constant contact. It's like something can be in your conscious mind, but you haven't really brought it forward, but they already know.
Yeah. It's interesting. In my automatic writing, and I write to the archangels, and I start with Archangel Michael, but it's, you met my daughter, Hannah, or we call her Hannah Bear, a few minutes ago. And Hannah Bear has a twin who passed away in utero, is on the other side. And her name is Miraku, or also called Miracle. And when I go into my automatic writing, before I can even finish listing the archangels, Miraku comes in. and she's like, I got it, Daddy. I'll speak for all of them. And she goes, here's what's on your mind.
Oh, that is lovely. And that's evidence being given to you as well. And it's in a sense, when someone like yourself receives evidence like that and you can share it because you've got this show and you're real and you're genuine, and that's very important. Like that helps, to create a stronger belief. It helps people, to give it a go, to give it a chance to reach into that connection, the spiritual side of them, instead of just the human side all of the time. We need to kind of bind those two together. So I'm always giving out to Archangel Michael and telling him to do more.
Thank you. So let's dive into it, what I'm going to call some of the secrets of Archangel Michael. And they're not really secrets, but we'll call them that for today. First off, if Archangel Michael is everywhere helping everyone who asks for his help, are we bothering Archangel Michael if we call on him?
No. I'd have to say no, because it's like you're not bothering them whatsoever. What I would say to you, call on them a million times if you have to. You never overburden them in any way. You never, make them feel sad. They love you so much. It's beyond all of that. So yeah, don't ever think that what you need to ask help for is not important enough. Go and ask, because it is important. Your archangel or your guardian angel or any other angel, they don't want you ever to think that you yourself or what you're worried about is not important enough, because it is.
Thank you. is there a specific mission? I'm going to say mission here on Earth, and we're going to get there in a minute because we've been talking a lot lately about beyond Earth. But is there a specific mission that Archangel Michael has for us here on Earth?
Yes, no one has ever asked that question, and that question is actually, the answer of it is enormous, and I can only give you a little bit. And again, it's to help us to, we are a human person. You're human, but you have the spiritual side. So you're two, you're not one. And the spiritual side is your soul, that spark of light of God. And Archangel Michael, from the beginning of time, before, how would I say it, before we were even a little blob in that sense, was already given this mission to help us to grow and to grow spiritually and intertwine it, into our human life. And that has happened, but because our human side at times, how would I say, made a mess of it? Will I say that? in that way, or we stirred the pot wrongly or something like that. And I guess that may have had to do with religion, because religion again is part of the spiritual part as well. But we kind of made a little mess of it instead of having more love and everything like that, and compassion and understanding and giving hope and allowing the human part of us and the spiritual part of us, the soul, to intertwine together. And Archangel Michael is still working on that. That's why I'm still in the world. I shouldn't be still here, and again, that's why, Angels in My Hair was written, and late in my life. And just seeing how Angels in My Hair has, in a sense, awoken millions of people around the world. And we're trying to reach, other people that don't even know the book exists, to help Archangel Michael. So it's kind of, I was shown where everything changes as we become more connected spiritually. A day will come when, you will see Archangel Michael, your daughter will, it'll be like normal every day, like it is for me, normal every day. I actually don't know what it's like for you. I find that very hard to understand. How come physically you don't see the angels or the souls of your loved ones, or even in a sense, when your daughter is sleeping, if her soul comes forward, and turns the other way or something like that, still connected to her body. So I find all that human part hard to understand. But Archangel Michael has been teaching me all my life, and just that connection that Archangel Michael has to us all, that power that God has given him, that he can be with each and every one of us when we call on him. So to me, it's kind of, let's go forward. What's keeping us so long? Why are we? I don't understand. Maybe if I explain, I don't understand why human beings do what you do. I know we do lots of good and lots of love, but I find it very hard to understand why we hurt each other, why we do like.
Let's go there in a very positive way. And I will say this, that baby Hannah is known to wake up, to sit upright in her crib and be having conversations. And in fact, typically when she gets up in the morning, we wake before her, we leave the room very quietly, and then we start hearing her talk. And we'll let her talk for about 10 or 20 minutes as we feel like she's getting back in her body at that point, because we don't want to interrupt the conversation before we finally come in. No idea what she's saying. Is it Michael? Is it her sister Miraku? No idea, but there's very clearly a conversation going on. Where she is at, I believe, is maybe where primordial man, and I say man meaning humankind, has been and has lost her way as part of our development. Baby Hannah, my guess is, doesn't have all of the wounds and traumas and fears and worries and concerns. She has some. She was born where she needed heart surgery a few days after she was born, and she gets to have another minor heart procedure just a few weeks after this airs. But she didn't come here with the traumas and wounds that get instilled or installed on all of us. And I wonder if that, what we can call a heart wall or blockage, keeps us, a good Buddhist term is, becomes an obscuration, a film that keeps us from seeing our angels and from seeing Archangel Michael.
Well, I would say to you, she's just come from heaven, and all children do. You know, they see the angels. She sees her sister, and she talks and plays with her, and everything like that. And that should continue. And once the world doesn't block her. But remember, you are her dad and her mom. You're very open. And one of the most important things is not to question her. Allow it to be natural and normal. You know, because sometimes I've met children where the parents question them so much, then the child as it grew was afraid to turn around and say, no, the child, and many children have said, I made up stories then for mom and dad. They were actually blocking it. They turned it off because they gave me fear. So I love, you know, she had heart trouble, you know, her little sister didn't stay, you know, but yet she's strong and full of life. And spiritually, you know, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're allowing her to talk away. And maybe when she starts to talk, you know, you can say to her, how's your soul this morning?
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
And you don't say anything else. She will understand. You don't say, I'll tell you what your soul is. She will know. And that is so amazing. I have parents doing that, try and not unblock, because, you know, we have to grow spiritually. We have to change. But again, still the world is kind of telling us no. You're to be interested only in the material things. But we are changing. Like, again, I think I told you before in one of the other talks, you know, sometimes when I'm giving a talk and families come and the children come, and at the blessing, the parents say, can you tell me my child's guardian angel? And 99.9% of the time, I ask the child, what's your guardian angel's name? And the child tells, here's the parents, like, you know, they're in shock. Why didn't my child tell me? But you shouldn't ask. You shouldn't ask. The child has to grow naturally, spiritually. The angels will teach your child, but you'll be teaching it as well by your example and by showing love and kindness and compassion. Like lots of children would say to me, sharing is caring.
Is there a way we can call on Archangel Michael to help heal our hearts or overcome traumas and wounds and blocks?
I would say to you, you know, to pray is very important as well, to ask your guardian angel to help you, ask, you know, Archangel Michael to help you. And in a sense, I would often say to people, because we are human as well, we need to do the human things. And sometimes that might be to talk about it to somebody, might be to see a psychologist or someone in that area. But another good thing that I've often had parents doing is write a letter and put down on it as much of your pain and hurt. But then it's like stand in front of a mirror or, sit at the table and read it out loud for you to hear the trauma you have gone through, that it's not just in your conscious mind and in the back there, in a sense, making blocks, making you stumble. It's like we have to, in a sense, hear it, hear the story, let the story out, and allow it to heal as much as possible, and in a sense to let it go. Because one thing you have to remember, you can't change the past. Like I know one young boy said to me, when he was 14, he was beaten up and bullied in secondary school here in Ireland. And I met him at a book signing, and I think he was about 16 that time. And he just said, I read angels in my hair, but I was actually going to go and kill myself because I couldn't cope with being bullied. I didn't see anything wrong with me and why they were picking on me. But now he said, I loved it. He said, I love me now. He loves himself. And he says, I love those that are even bullying me. And I asked my guardian angel to help. And he said he could see the difference. He said, they're all my friends now. Like, it has all changed for him. And I think that's very important. I know he didn't ask Archangel Michael. He was only conscious of his guardian angel. But I'm sure now, as years have passed, he's very conscious of Archangel Michael as well. And God knows what other archangel he's conscious of as well. But again, it's to grow spiritual and be open and not be scared. I think it's important to remember as well with Archangel Michael and your guardian angel or any angel or even the soul of a loved one. They'll never ask you to do anything wrong. They'll never ask you to be mean or spiteful or to hurt anyone or to do anything wrong with nature. Your guardian angel and the angels give you, I have to smile at it, this guilty feeling, that's wrong, you shouldn't have said that, you shouldn't have done that. But I think adults have got very, very good at pushing that back. So I would say respond, if you get a guilty feeling before you do it, which you will, then don't do it. Then don't say those hateful words or hurtful words. Don't do that, and don't, in a sense, strike out at someone or at nature.
Thank you. Does Archangel Michael have feelings or hopes or dreams?
I love that. How can I answer that question? Not in the way that we humanly perceive that. Archangel Michael and all angels, they don't need that. It's like that doesn't exist for them because how can I explain, they already know so much. They already know so much of the future and all of the paths we can go down and all of the paths we shouldn't go down and all of everything and the beauty and the love. Let's say we use the word the dream, in that sense. And maybe humanly we could say Archangel Michael and all the angels are living their dream, but they wouldn't say that because those human words or those thoughts don't exist for the angels, even Archangel Michael.
Is Archangel Michael on his own? And I want to get to this masculine feminine thing. That is the next question. But is he on his own spiritual path, his own spiritual growth?
How would I say? They don't need to grow spiritually in any way. They don't need growth in any way. It's like they're maybe in a human way, maybe to help people to understand is they're already perfect. This is the way they were made. They don't need those human things that we human beings need. To Archangel Michael, there's no spiritual path. It doesn't exist for them because they're already spiritual beings, where we are a human being and we have the other part of us, the spiritual part, but we haven't allowed it as yet. But I think we are starting to allow that intertwining. I say that intertwining is like a plait between the human self and the soul. So when we allow that gradually to happen, and then when it happens fully, we won't be using the words you've just used now. We won't be saying, what's our spiritual journey? What's our spiritual path? What's our spiritual growth? We won't be saying, what's my dream? Everything will be beyond all of that. I can't tell you, I can't lie to you or say just because everyone else is saying something.
So then you mentioned earlier was created, forgive me, was created perfectly. Who, how, what, where, why? It created implies there was a time before Archangel Michael. So tell me about this whole the evolution. Sorry to go there of Archangel Michael.
I am co-writing with a scientist at the moment, and hopefully we will get the book sold, again, the end of the year. And it'll answer some of these questions, but it'll only answer them partly because, again, it's too much for people to take in, even for science to take in that way. And he based it on Angels in My Hair. He read Angels in My Hair and it blew his mind away. He saw things in it that the ordinary reader didn't see. So maybe read it again and you might see something and say, oh, what is this in that way? Yes. And we call the creator, sometimes we say God, we give the creator, because creation is still happening. It's still happening. So it's a big question you have asked. And before even the creation that we know at the moment, the angels were there when there was nothing. But how would I say, the creator God created them. But again, you have to remember, how would I say, it's a really hard question. I know we say, it was darkness, but darkness is light. God, the creator, whatever we call, because I was told to say God, because I asked, I said, people be screaming at me, but to use the word God is universal for the whole universe in that way. And you just look at any Bible or Quran, it's actually has been telling us all the time, the creator is light. So I'll give you that much.
Okay, I'll take that, and I'll look forward to the book because there's so much study going on right now about what we call dark matter. And dark matter is in a sense light. It's this intertwining of light and darkness, and that's in a sense what you're talking about. So this is really, really cool. All right, let's go from the dark and light, the yin and yang, to the masculine and feminine. We're talking about Archangel Michael, and with the name Archangel Michael, although I used to live in France, and there my name was Michelle. We're talking about Archangel Michael as in it's a masculine, but is Archangel Michael masculine or feminine? And is there a feminine version of him?
How can I put this? Angels are neither male nor female. Okay. They're neither. They just give that to us. What we feel we need at that time. So Archangel Michael gives, that masculine appearance. But Archangel Michael, just like all angels, give that feminine. It's like they have everything that we need. So they're neither male nor female. So if you want Archangel Michael to be female to you, if you need to feel that, you will feel it. You will be aware of it. For me, Archangel Michael has always given a male appearance. So, but I know he's neither. How can I say this? I have seen at times I couldn't tell you whether he was male or female. Again, you're asking questions other people have never asked before. Archangel Michael is so gentle. It's like even his touch is so gentle. If I put my hand into his, it's like they become, what's that word, proportion. And it's so gentle and so soft. It's that love that you feel. You feel, how would I say, at times that you're being comforted by your mother, like, or the female you love, the feminine side, or if you need the male side, that strength. And I know Archangel Michael, as a child in the bedroom in Old Caminum, he gave me that male, that he was there to protect me. But he could have given the feminine as well, because it doesn't make any difference. Archangel Michael is a powerful angel and can protect us all, and is working through, I'll just say, through the beginning of time that we know of time. But time stopped up, or there was never time.
And I will resist going there with that one. What is one of the most profound or memorable experiences you've had with Archangel Michael?
Oh, there has been many, but I suppose, the one was really that I'm being given to mind now, and that's the angels doing that, was the time when I had to gather a notebook and a pen, and I couldn't read or write, and I still can't today. And Archangel Michael appeared beside the bed, and he appeared completely different than other times. Just, again, given a male appearance, but very masculine. And how would I say, he just glowed so bright. And he had this scroll in his hand, and he said to me to write down what he says. And you can imagine me looking at him, what? I can't write, and you expect me to write down what you say. So he must have been at the side of my bed for well over an hour. And in a sense, when it was written down, it was coded, because I couldn't have written exactly in the type of writing. But then my husband Joe, because I go by symbols. If you show me a particular symbol that means something to me, I know what that means.
Well, now you're talking, to interrupt real briefly, you're talking light language. You're talking supra word. So when Jessica catches me off guard, I don't have words. It's really interesting. I appear like this extrovert who's like yabber, yabber, yabber. I am at a loss for words most of the time. I'm in a channeled process like you right now. But what I'll say is language is not my first language. That's what you're describing right now.
Yeah, language, we are kind of so focused on writing, putting words down. But again, I would be communicating with the angels telepathically and verbally as well, and hearing them. But 5 of them could be talking at the same time, or 10 of them, and all about different things. And I don't know how to describe that. I hear each one all at the same time. So Archangel Michael, if you need the feminine touch from him, he will give that to you. He will encourage you. If you need the male strength, as we put it humanly, you will get that. But angels, just like Archangel Michael, are neither.
Thank you. Is there one message or urgent messages from Archangel Michael that he's been wanting you to share with humanity at this time?
Just when you asked that, I was just being told to say, it's very simple. Please listen. Please listen. And take it into your heart. It's that simple. Please listen. The world is being given the messages. Everyone is. And we know that.
Well, to me, you're talking about the song of humanity. And the more time that we spend bathing in the word and the frequency of the angels, the higher octaves we start to reach. And it's interesting because many of us have had the experience of hearing angelic music or an angelic chorus. And humanity has that ability to reach those tones, as you're calling it, intertwined over time.
Yeah, we have such abilities that people don't realize the abilities and the gifts you have already. They're in abundance, and the things we will be able to do, and the things we even can do now without material things. Imagine that. So I thank Archangel Michael. Thank Archangel Michael for saying to me the day I was wheeling my daughter home in the pram, and I know I got annoyed with him because I was a busy mom. And he just said, I have a message for you. And he said, it's getting near time for you to write. And I just always remember holding on to the pram. My little daughter was asleep, like your little daughter, fast asleep in her pram. And I turned and I said to him, how on earth does God expect me to write even one book when I can't read or write? I couldn't even write my name. I would have my children do all that for me. And he just said, help would be sent. And I'm doing what I'm doing now. As a child and even as an adult, I was considered retarded. And even today, because I haven't got a university degree, people still look at me and say, you're not educated, you don't know anything. But to me, I didn't need to go to human schools because I have been educated by the best teachers in the world, and that's all of the angels and God. I wouldn't be talking here today with you if that wasn't the case. And I don't need to know how to read. Like, I love that. I don't need to, even though I would love to pick up a book and read it. And, when I see someone writing with a pen words, I just say, God, that's incredible what you can do. So many people don't realize the gifts they have already.
Thank you. Going back to a very, very early question, and my mind is trying to grok everything that you just said and the communication beyond word, and it might double back there. But how do we grow our trust in, how do we call it? How do we learn how to trust our guidance more, or how to trust what we're hearing from Archangel Michael or from our guardian angel, so that we can lead a more angel-led life? Because to me, I believe there's an easy way and a hard way. And working with the angels and with Archangel Michael is a lot easier.
Yes, it is. It is easier. And I can only give you the example of myself. I have faith and I've always trusted. And from the time I was a child, they have been teaching me. So I don't doubt. But I try to explain to people, I don't look for, something from myself, where most of us look. Most of us say, I want to be this actor, or I want, to be this great business person, or I want to be this teacher. I just go down the road, and whatever way they lead me, I don't question it. And I never have. It's like all the things that the world has been telling the world, every human being, that you must do this, you must do that, you must have this brilliant education, you must be able to read and write and, be so full of confidence. in that way that we have forgotten spiritually how to be ourselves. And we have, in a sense, forgotten about and are missing the gifts we have. Like I would often say to somebody who would say they're bored with life. And I'd be very shocked. Why are you bored with life? And I ask them, are you doing anything? And they say, no. And I say, well, have you ever gone mountain climbing? And they turn around, oh, that'd be boring. Or you would say, have you ever decided to do some painting? And it's like, that would be boring. Everything is boring. It's like we have humanly cut off the human part of us that has so much potential within us to become ourselves. I have only become me. I can't be what the world wants me to be, whatever that may be, because I don't know. And in the sense,
I think the world wants you to be Lorna Byrne.
Just me.
I think you're a rock star by being you.
So I would always say to the young person, try and be you and discover, get back into nature. I know even like so much has happened that we even have the sanctuary now. Like I knew about that as a child, but having no money, I was saying to God, how on earth is that going to happen? But I just went down the road and it has happened. It's there, and someone else gave it, and so much is happening. Just go down the road, and it's like play with the stones. Dig that ditch if you want to, plant that tree. Exactly, discover life. Like the angels have taught me everything out of nature. It was always out of nature. They would bring me across the mountains. They'd bring me across bogs. I shouldn't be here. I don't know how they managed to do all of that because I was very small when I was a child, and I still am. I'm only 5'0". They literally taught me everything, and they taught me how to see, not to look. And again, that's a huge part of spiritual growth. We all and I've been reminding people of this, and this is another thing of growing spiritual. It's another thing that Archangel Michael is helping with us, and all the angels, and even the souls of our loved ones, is to don't look around the room, actually see. There's a difference.
How can we plug in? That's exactly where I want to go. And I won't keep you too much longer. This has been brilliant and beautiful. I can't thank you enough. And how do we work with Archangel Michael, who stands with his sword of truth, to cut through the illusions, the lies, the negativity that today are, holy smokes, everywhere and coming even faster?
Well, I would say, to everyone to ask. You have to, you need to ask. And the thing is, you've already asked before you were even conceived. Your daughter already asked. But now it's up to you and her mom not to allow the world to intervene too much in that way. But for all of the adults out there and all of the teenagers out there, is just ask Archangel Michael to help you to, what would I say, reach back inside of you, to touch your soul, to help you not just to looking with your human eyes, but to help your soul to come forward so that you can see through the eyes of your soul as well. It's like life is great. It is great, even though there's lots of negative things in the world at the moment. But I know Archangel Michael and all of the angels and all the souls of the loved ones and the Creator, God itself, is helping us to battle through these things, because it's the human part of us that has put all this negativity there. It's not the spiritual part of us at all. So it's kind of humanly, we have to decide to be fair to everyone and not just to look for, I want, this cake for me in that sense, and I don't care about everybody else. That won't work. So we have to pray, be kind, be gentle, be loving, call on all the spiritual help we possibly can. And we have to pray and ask for the leaders of the world, the presidents, the governments, whatever it may be, and even the people of, the big companies, because they put bread and butter on our table as well. But we have to pray and ask for them as well, that they make the right decisions in every way. And we've got to pray and ask about our beautiful planet. Our planet and the universe has been given to us as a gift. But when you get something free, for nothing, you kind of just take it for granted and you take all you want from it and then throw it away. But the thing is, we can't throw the planet away. So we have to, in a sense, stop taking from it and give back now. So that all life has a wonderful life, including ourselves.
Thank you. Then if I was to kind of encompass this, gift wrap it, put it with an Archangel Michael bow, maybe use the sword to get a little bling on the edges of the bow there. Would it be, and would Archangel Michael say, one side is to listen, the other side is to pray?
Well, yes, you could do it that way. You could. Archangel Michael will be probably saying and the guardian angel, and even the souls of our loved ones, telling some of us to pray a little bit more, to ask for not just ourselves and our family and our friends, but to ask for the stranger, to pray for all of the leaders of the world. Sometimes I have asked people to pray for a particular leader of the world, and I would get backlash. Sometimes it was, how could you pray for that leader? Look at what he's done to his people and his country. But if you don't pray and ask for him, how is his heart going to be touched? How is he suddenly going to have compassion? How is he suddenly going to open up spiritually and change and not be doing what he's doing? It's like we have to pray for Putin. We have to pray for all the countries in the world. We can't just say that's a very bad person, so we don't pray for them. They won't change unless someone prays for them.
Does Archangel Michael have a sense of humor?
Oh, angels all have a sense of humor. They all have a sense of humor. Yes, Archangel Michael, definitely. I have to smile at that because I think it's years since I was asked that question. Yes, the angels often make me laugh and smile. And how would I say, I've watched the angels splashing us with water, people with water, or I have watched where, in a sense, how would I say, I remember one day watching these two young women walking down the road, and they looked very gloomy. They were not in good form, and it's like as if they weren't talking to each other, and just a load of unemployed angels came in and around them. And I just watched one of them kind of, what would you say, like miss her step. And now she didn't fall, but it was like she bumped into somebody, and somehow it all turned out as laughter, so they were playing and trying to get laughter there, good humor back. And I remember just watching them and watching what was happening, and even the person they bumped into, saying, you're okay, let me help you. And you could see this smile coming on the two young women's faces. And then all of a sudden it was like, how would I say it? They were all friends. It was like as if the negative had been lifted and was gone in that way. And we need to do that for each other. As I often say, Archangel Michael would say to me, there's a group of people coming up the road, Lorna. They need a smile. And I would look at them and I would be smiling, as I'm passing by. And you would see, the smile coming out on them. They notice and they start to smile. So it's like we can uplift each other and take the negative away. And that's one thing the angels are always saying. And Archangel Michael, a little bit of kindness, is very, very important. Just that little bit of kindness.
Woohoo! I'm picturing there's a musical jamboree. It's part of a farmer's market we go to each week. And
Good.
Baby
I'd love
Hannah's,
to go to a farmer's market.
come on down. We're in St. Augustine, Florida. We'll take you around, and they play music, and they get about 20 instruments there, banjos and violas or cellos and guitars, and Baby Hannah walks around all of the music going on and goes up to people and just looks at them and gives a beaming grin until they smile, and then she goes on to the next one. And I'm like, this is a way to live life, is to just share that love with everybody.
Yes, Hannah is an incredible example. And it's like, in a sense, that's taken away from children when they go to school. They have to, it's kind of, they're told only if things are solid or real, and they're, in a sense, not allowed to be themselves. And I do love the way now, they don't call it spirituality, but they're kind of bringing into schools well-being and teaching children how to be kind and gentle, or teaching children to love. But why did we lose that? Why does that have to happen? What happened? It's like we took a few steps backwards, and that wasn't long ago. But that was, in a sense, all the changes that happened in the world so quickly.
And I love that we're coming back, and I think we're going to boomerang even further. Just a couple last questions. You mentioned physicality a second ago. Can angels, like we say that my loved one who is here, I know she's an angel on the other side, or this person who was here and stepped into my life and then disappeared, that must have been an angel. Can this be?
What way will I put this now? The soul of your loved one is more than any angel ever could be. Okay? And that's another reason why the angels loved being around us, because we're that speck of light of the Creator of God. We are more than an angel ever could be. So we have, in a sense, put angels on pedestals, but the angels have us on a pedestal that's so high up in that way. And sometimes someone comes into our life and we would say they were so kind and so gentle, they were an angel. But if they were a human being, they were just, they weren't an angel. They were more than an angel ever could be. But in a sense, they were open more spiritually without even having to say a word. Because you don't have to say, look how great I am. I'm a spiritual person. I'm a good person. They gave so much love and helped out. And then they had to move on in life. And that's a lovely memory to have for someone. And I would always say to someone, if you met someone like that in your life, and they just passed through, don't forget and say a little prayer for them now and then, or send them an unemployed angel. And in yourself, try and become that spiritual person, that kind and loving person, that you give it a pure heart and you expect nothing in return. Sometimes I would say become the Good Samaritan. They're like the Good Samaritan in that way.
Thank you. Where can people go, Lorna, to find Angels at My Fingertips, to find all of your work, to find everything that you have to offer?
I know in America they're in the bookshops, I hope, anyway, and you can go on Amazon as well. And you'll get Angels in My Hair, the first book I have written, which I always say is the book that people have always been giving and handing out to people, to strangers. Like the young man who had said to me, I had it in my pocket and I was on a subway. He was in America on a subway, and he said that subway was packed, but he knew there was a young man behind him. And he said he his angel communicated with him in such a way that he knew he had to turn around as he was getting off the train. And he did exactly as his guardian angel said, or it could have been Archangel Michael, and just turned around, handed the book to the young man, and all as he said, "This is a great read." And he got off the train. And he said, "Lorna, I hope that Angels in My Hair will help him as much as it has helped me." So you can go on the web. I'm no good at the technical part. So it's kind of like, I know bookshops, Amazon, and you can find me on Facebook.
And on YouTube as well.
And on YouTube. Yeah, I do have a lot of children coming in that are finding me on YouTube. And again, it's just hearing from these young children who are just telling you stories. And then they come in on the prayer scroll. And it could be this real long letter about, because I can get the computer to read it about, what's happening in their life and how now they don't feel so lonely, knowing they have a guardian angel. And again, how things have helped and changed for them in positive ways. It's just so lovely to hear stories from young people as well as old people. I don't want to leave any age out, all ages.
Any last words you want to share, or is there anything that you hear coming to you from Archangel Michael that gets to be shared?
Well, Archangel Michael just has me, what he has said lately is, to promote Angels in My Hair. And that's what I'm doing. It's like God, the creator, and all of the angels and the souls of our loved ones want the world, every human being, to become more aware, to listen and to open up. We have to take that next step in evolution. So I actually feel embarrassed. I keep saying Archangel Michael, but I can't tell people to go out and buy the book Angels in My Hair or any of the other books.
I can. I can.
And just give them to strangers of all faiths and none. Like, it doesn't matter.
Here, let me promote you, Lorna. Let me interrupt and promote you. Everyone, go out and buy 3 copies. 3. Get one for yourself. Get one for a loved one, and you know who that is. And then keep a 3rd on standby because you're going to want to give it away. How's that, Lorna? That's
incredible. I just tell Archangel Michael, that's something I'm not good at. But thank you. And I suppose, if people do that, again, it will help the publishers to pay attention. And then I might get invited over more to America to do events and to give the blessing and to help bring all the people together of the world. Because America, I talk about America, it's the gateway. You have a huge role to play. And to me, that is unbelievable because I know I have written about the Gathering Angels and they have brought Americans. And I know there was Americans there, the Indian, but the Gathering Angels have brought people from all over the world. You are of all nationalities. I'm not pronouncing that word properly, but you're all Americans. And to me, that is so incredible. Like, it's like when I get off a plane or even when it's coming down to land, I feel how would I say it? The energy and the atmosphere is so different than anywhere else in the world. So you are the gateway. So I hope they listen to you. I can't ask. It's your free will, your choice. So that's what I always say. God gives you the choice, that free will.
And I'm on a mission, Lorna. Raise people's vibration, elevate consciousness, shift humanity. That's everything that you're talking about. So I can make the ask, and I can make the ask 10, 20, 100, 1,000 times a day, because I know you and I are doing the work. We're helping others, and everybody who gets the book is doing the work.
Yeah, like, when a young person or an older person or a husband or wife comes up to me, I could be in any country and they're a complete stranger to me, and they just say, "You saved my life." And I don't even know who they are. And the only thing I can ever say to them, "It wasn't me that saved your life." And they would usually say they read Angels in My Hair, and then of course got all the other books. But it's like, it's whatever messages you received. It's God and the angels that changed your outlook on the world and on yourself, and helped you to, what would I say, shine. You to be the real you, not to be wanting to be everyone else. And I always say to people, it's the few people in the world that are different that make the changes for the better.
For our highest good.
I better say no more.
For our highest good and the highest good of all, or something even better. Lorna, this has been truly amazing, spectacular, incredible. The words don't. We started with sweetness. We're ending with sweetness. And I can't thank you enough for just being you.
Well, I only can be me, and I have to thank you and all your listeners for having me on your show, because I love chatting with you. To me, I'm not on the show. I'm just chatting with you, and I would love to be doing it in person one day, and maybe that will happen. Please God it will, because I'm looking forward to meeting you and your beautiful daughter and your wife, who I get a little glimpse of.
She sneaks in off camera with baby on.
And of course the cockadoodle-oo.
And he's
who has gone very, very quiet.
Yeah, he's sitting by my side very, very quietly right now, just holding space. So I get to wrap this up. I certainly invite you to come over here. I look forward to it. It will happen. And we are blessed right now to be in this beautiful place of St. Augustine, Florida. So it would be warm and gentle waters and very, very inviting. So for everyone out there, this is Michael Sandler saying, be well, have fun, get 3 copies of Angels in My Hair, and get Angels at my, Angels at, Lorna, I'm at a loss for words here.
Angels in My Hair and Angels at My Fingertips.
Woo! And above and beyond all else, shine bright. Woohoo! What a beautiful, special, sacred, just as I mentioned, the superlatives don't do enough for Lorna's energy. And to me, the energy of this interview is this energy that you get into when you start bathing and playing with the angels, whether that's Archangel Michael, whether that's your guardian angels. But so I encourage you, of course, I want you to check out the next show. Of course, we've got this amazing newsletter, which is bathing in the energy of the angels. Maybe that's the best first place to start. dailywoohoo.com may be the best place to start. But if you make a practice each and every day, speaking with your angels, communicate with your angels, hearing from your angels, doing automatic writing with your angels, whatever that is, you shift. The energy around you shifts. Everyone around you shifts as well. And that's when we begin to shift humanity. That's the mission I'm on. I'm guessing that's the mission you're on as well. All by simply, having angels in your hair, playing with angels at your fingertips, doing the Macarena, can't believe I'm going to say that, with your angels. So on that beautiful note, certainly you can go to dailywoohoo.com. That's the first place to get a daily boost of energy and dance with your angels. Automatic writing as well. Here's the next amazing show. Love you guys so, so much. Keep on shining bright. Woohoo! How does it get any better than this? Love you.